hour 30 seconds. Let's see a good race. So I'm going to give you guys a countdown. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. So as Zuidia said, this is score to any percent, and the general premise of the run basically is around halfway through the game there's this area called the Shrine of Winter, and you need to get past there to get to the Drain Lake Castle to basically do the second half of the game. But the only way to get past there is either if you collect all the Great Souls, or if you collect 1,000,000 souls. So in this route they're going to collect 1,000,000 souls, as that turns out to be the faster option.
This is Irelia. I'll be one of the commentators today. Seems we may have an issue with 2RED stream.
Yeah.
Let's find out what's going on here. And these two runners have been in the community quite a while. Fujo having a 55.26 for his
Concern Doge.
A 1 hour 30 seconds. Let's see a good race. All right, well, we'll find out what's going on there, but it is showing a little bit strange. Anyways, so I'm gonna give you guys a countdown. Let's continue on. So Alibaba, what is the strategy here?
Yeah, so you saw Fujo. He started with the bonfire ascetic gift, and what that does is when you use it at a bonfire, it basically resets the area to the NG plus version of whatever NG you're on. So if you're on NG plus 1, it will put it to the NG plus 2 version. And what Fujo's going to do, or the runners are going to do, is they're going to use it for the Rotten boss fight, and they're going to kill him a couple of times to get the souls they need to get to 1,000,000. So yeah, Fujo's going to light the bonfire here after he talks to Emerald Herald. Oh, it looks like Red has started now. Nice jump.
I will ask him what is going on and then be right back.
Yeah, Fujo's just sorting out his inventory while waiting for the door.
So, anyways, the as Alibaba said, goal of the run, get 1,000,000 souls. They're going to do this in one of two ways mainly. They're going to be killing the Rotten 4 times, and they'll be killing some other bosses to get necessary upgrade materials that they need, and then they can continue on and go through the rest of the game. So, with that in mind, they are going into the Cardinal Tower first, and what they're going to be doing here is getting one crucial NPC that will sell them some very useful items later. They'll be unlocking the blacksmith, and they'll get a first bit of souls to get them started off on the run so that they can go kill some of the other bosses.
Yeah, and Fujo had an alright ladder. Didn't get one that bad. So he's going to buy a firebomb here, and he's going to perform what we call the bomb wall. So basically behind this wall here, there are a couple of barrels, and if you throw a firebomb at them, they'll destroy the wall, which opens up a nice little shortcut. And turns out you can just throw the bomb at the wall, and it will trigger the barrels, which lets you get to Last Giant about 30 seconds faster than the intended route, I think.
Yep, it's that was a very good clean bomb wall by Fujo, and he's going to be going through this next fog gate up here. This one's a little tricky, as these guys can and will kill you just like that. So just unfortunate rolling timing there. We do have word that Red's run is just delayed in terms of the video. He has been running at the same time. So they started together, and even though it's a little bit behind, we'll go off of their in-game times for the end. So this one will definitely likely have to wait until the very last moment to see who wins this race. Fujo's going back to the fog gate, this time with more health. He should have no problem getting through here.
Nice.
And just like that. Red making his way over to the Cardinal Tower bonfire. And then we'll see him do the same bomb wall as well. And Fujo's going to fight our first boss. This will be the last giant.
Yeah. They're probably one of the more finicky bosses, actually. Because, yeah, it takes quite a bit of practice to get good at.
There are definitely some valid strategies here, and it often just starts with a running attack, and then burn your whole stamina bar into him. Walk around his legs, burn your whole stamina bar into him, and then from here on out, it's kind of runner preference. You can either save stamina to get more hits in when he gives you an opening, or just do like 2 hits at a time. Eventually, he does take his arm off, and then he will use that as a weapon against you too. Mostly, that's very safe as long as you're underneath him. What we want to see here is him staying basically still and not doing a specific stomp attack, but we for sure do not want to see him do any jumps, and sometimes he will jump back. Red going for the bomb wall, and he gets it too. Very good.
Yeah, and Fujo had a really clean last giant as well.
So, very good giant by Fujo. We had a good bomb wall by Red. And we'll see where Red gets when he gets up to last giant to see kind of where they are in relation to each other.
Yes, so
Fujo having a death, lost about 30 seconds.
Yes, you saw Fujo. He bought some bright bugs, the Leningrad's key. He needs the key to open the door to the blacksmith in Majula. And the bright bugs are an item that they increase your damage and defense by 50%. So they're certainly one of the best items in the game. And
They also last for about 2 minutes, so you can
yeah,
pop one and you have a long time to use it. We
yes,
may see later on where they pop the bright bugs very early before a fight, and then they will use the whole time to kind of run up to the boss, and then they're only using the bright bug for the boss fight for maybe the last portion of it.
yeah. And he also got the covered silver serpent ring, which is a ring that increases the amount of souls you get from killing each enemy by about 20%.
See Red having a little bit of a tough time on that last giant, so they were actually about even with their last giant kill. Um, Despite the death from Fujo, their timing for killing the last giant was almost the same. And Fujo has gone back to Majula, and he's gonna unlock this door for the blacksmith, but he has to sit back at the bonfire before he'll go and work the anvil. Red's on his way over to the Pursuer boss fight. If you saw from Fujo, this is one of the few bosses that you fight in a unique way. This one has a very convenient ballista stationed in a spot that you can bait him into standing in front of it, and then you shoot him twice with the ballista, and the Pursuer's done. It's that easy. Let's see if we get a good fight from 2RED. And it looks like he's going to get this.
Yeah, and Fujo murdered Morlin because he wants his armor from him, which sells Dora set, which gives you similar to the ring you got, where it gives you more souls for each enemy you kill, or more
Yep,
souls from each enemy.
it's going to be pertinent to be wearing that set when gaining large amount of souls, and that's mostly just going to come from bosses. So basically, at the end of each boss fight, you will see them wear this Seldora set, and then they'll take it right back off. Um, One of the things about Dark Souls 2, and this it shares in common with the other Dark Souls games, is you want to be wearing as little equipment as possible, so that your stamina can regen the fastest. The more you're wearing, the slower your rolls are, the more stamina you use, and the slower it recovers.
Yeah, and Fujo took the safety bonfire in the gutter, which is understandable. It's a very long run back if you die.
It looks like the stream refreshed for 2RED, so we can actually see where they are neck and neck now. We have Fujo just maybe 20 seconds ahead of 2RED. He's already gotten the branch, and Fujo is on his way over to the Black Gulch, where we will find our next boss, the Rotten.
Yeah, and we're going to be seeing him quite a bit throughout this run later on. Looks like
Interesting setup by Fujo. It looks like he's getting the Great Club. His game is in French, so we kind of have to guesstimate what it says. But that should be the Great Club spawn. That I guess is a another option to use in some fights. We may see it. What do you think on Magus?
I'm not sure, but I guess that's the only one you really would want to use it on. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with his route. I know that he is likely not doing an early RTSR route. He is likely to do late RTSR, but we'll see what that Grand Club is used for. That Great Club, I mean. And 2RED making his way over into the Black Gulch. So again, they're not too far different in terms of where they're at, and in terms of actual time, they're maybe 15 seconds apart, 20 seconds apart.
Yeah, so now Fujo's going to be fighting the Rotten for the first time out of 4 times.
Because we only have a +3 weapon at this point, we use a Bright Bug for this fight. And this is to help keep this Rotten quick. Unlike in later fights where we will have both Bright Bugs and a buff item, the Gold Pine Resin, available to us.
Yeah, plus 3 rapier without any buffs is very slow on Rotten, so Bright Bug's definitely essential.
What's the strategy for Rotten, Alibaba?
Well, the general strategy is to try to cut off his cleaver arm, and then try to bait him into attacking with it, and it'll give you a bunch of free hits. But he got his other arm off, Fujo, so far. Looks like he's going to complete the fight without cutting off the arm. But pretty clean anyway.
Very clean.
We'll see how Red's fight goes here.
So we had a 12:07 when Fujo finished Rotten 1. Let's see where Red finishes up Rotten 1. Getting a couple hits on that cleaver arm. And Rotten's one of the weird fights in this game where he has quite a few attacks at his disposal. And he definitely will use his different attacks based on where you are and what you're doing. I can tell you from experience that when I just like pump my whole stamina bar into him, he just uses his one arm to smash me down. And if I wait if I wait with my stamina, then he's unlikely to use that attack, or at least less likely, I found.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty reactive boss, and because of that, you can manipulate his attack patterns to be more in your favor. However, it's not completely manipulatable.
Yeah, so as you saw in that fight, Red got the cleaver arm off pretty early, which made the rest of the fight pretty clean.
Yeah, Red's about 30 seconds behind now, but he did pop that Bonfire Ascetic. He's going back to Majula to do his first level up. And the first level up here is to give you enough HP, enough endurance for stamina, as well as the dexterity to do damage to the next set of bosses before you do your final level up. So he goes with only 25 dex instead of 33, instead opting to take more endurance, which is fine. He will have a larger stamina bar, but his attacks will do a little bit less damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Fujo gets early RTSR. I guess not.
He might, and you know, that might be a case for this one because he just discarded his mace. I guess that is why he has the Great Club. So he's going to be getting the later Crystal Lizards. These scurried little guys that will run off with very good uh, resources to upgrade weapons. He's going to kill those with a great club, it looks like. Where 2RED will be using the mace, like most routes
Yeah,
use.
it's quite peculiar from Fujo, but it'll be quite interesting to see how this goes.
Fujo getting the Shaded Woods bonfire will be coming back here several times during the run, and then using an arrow to hit this large kind of talking tree. You hit the tree, it makes some noise. Enemies around it hear that noise and then start attacking the tree. And then by being hit by the enemies, it's going to keep making more noise. So it just cycles endlessly, and the enemies leave you alone.
Yeah, normally you'd buy Claymore along with some Gold Pine Resins here. Not sure if Fujo would buy the Claymore. I
He
guess we'll
skipped
see.
that Claymore.
Again,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so the
He
Gold Pine
gets a
Res.
Forlorn spawn.
Oh no.
This one's not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Gold Pine Resin is basically a lightning buff on your weapon, which will be used throughout the run.
Maybe it's just for safety. I'm not sure. I don't think there would be any other real specific areas you would use it outside of just every boss fight. Because, to be honest, this run doesn't fight too many optional enemies. Really, the only enemies you're killing are the ones that you have to kill. And except for bosses, none of them really need Gold Pine Resins.
Yeah.
Red actually gets the red Tearstone ring, so he is going an early RTSR route. This will be interesting.
Yeah, so the RTSR is, or the Red Tearstone Ring, is basically a ring that when you're below 30% HP, it increases your damage by 20%.
It's not
Yeah.
as strong as it was in Dark Souls 1, I believe. However, it is still a super powerful item to getting your damage through the roof and making certain boss fights honestly a lot easier because you're killing them, giving them less time to give you bad RNG. Fujo up here, approaching our next boss, Najka. This one is very RNG heavy, so we'll see how this one goes. We had a couple bad Najka fights yesterday from the races. Let's see if he gets better RNG here.
Yeah, he's just going to be hoping for tail attacks, but
Unfortunately, probably the worst start. He's got to somehow find a way back to the back of Najka to get her to stop using claw attacks.
Yeah, this is not good RNG.
This might be what he needs. Never mind. She's jumping and magic, but I think she'll die before that goes off. Yep, that was actually a decent fight by Fujo, despite the poor RNG. He didn't get hit, and it didn't look like he had to waste too much stamina dodging. So not bad. Red has a very good chance to make up some time with a better Notchka and with this red Tearstone ring pumping up his damage.
Yeah, so the Najka fight naturally for Red is going to be quite a bit more risky, but it will also be faster if he gets good RNG and doesn't die.
One of the drawbacks of Red Tearstone Ring is you're more or less one hit from death at any point while using it. So you really have to weigh the risk versus reward of using this item in these fights, and which ones you're gonna take on with that Red Tearstone Ring, so that you do more damage, but you also don't die. Because dying's the biggest time loss.
And Fujo's killing the lizards, as Aurelia mentioned earlier, which drops some really useful upgrade materials.
Yep. We have to kill 3 lizards in this run, and that was one of them. Red getting amazing RNG from this Notchka. Just 2 more hits and she should be dead.
That was a very clean fight.
Yep, so he for sure made up some time on Fujo just from the Notchka, despite the initial time loss of gathering that red Tearstone ring. Assuming that Red has no deaths and that he is able to do these fights properly with the red Tearstone ring, almost every fight he's going to be gaining time on Fujo, and that's going to be big coming on later down the road. We'll see where they are after all 4 Rottens, as Rottens are a very big time save for red Tearstone ring runs.
Yeah, and you'll see both runners using an item called the Alluring Skull at quite a few points. And what it does, when you throw it, basically enemies they get attracted to it for a couple of seconds.
It's helpful to get certain enemies out of the way, especially when they're all mobbed up and they're pretty dangerous. What you saw Fujo use was in front of a group of guys so that he could open a door. Otherwise, it would have been pretty difficult to get through that door without killing all of them, which would be very slow.
Yeah, and the skulls are also extremely useful in this fight as well.
Fujo doing the Magus in the Congregation fight. This fight, probably one of the easiest casual fights, but is a deceptively difficult fight for speedrunning, just due to the RNG of the fight as well as all of these enemies, which are just super annoying to hit. And here we see that Great Club. Pancaking enemies one after another. Very good, very good. Oh, not quite able to kill that one.
Nice.
And he pulls out the rapier for the last hit.
Yeah.
Not a bad fight. I don't know if having the claymore would have been faster, but that one was certainly interesting to see, and we'll see how Red's fight goes. Again, he is in Red Tearstone range. I can tell you at this health, any hit is going to kill Red, so he needs to make sure to avoid getting attacked at all costs. Fujo missing the lizard. Oh no! Does he have a backup? That one should be a chunk, isn't it? I believe that one is a chunk. Or is it two chunks?
I don't remember.
That was unfortunate. He must have just aimed wrong. This one is a tougher lizard to get, but I think with the Great Club, that one's really easy. We'll see what Fujo does here. He did not take the safety bonfire. Oh, and that was an interesting jump.
An interesting fight for Red here.
Red's still going through the fight, and because he has this red tearstone ring, he is doing a lot of damage to these enemies. He's going to be able to one-shot the standing enemies with the claymore, and he'll just be able to two-shot the crawlers. So, yeah, good fight for Red. Again, that looks to be a time save to me, and he should be healing up so he doesn't die. Or he's just going to equip the silver cat ring.
So I guess Fujo's gonna have to use +8 rapier, I suppose.
Oh man, that's a rough one to be honest. +8 is
+8.
So Red, I think, just barely got lucky there. He locked onto the lizard, which I do not recommend doing because it's gonna slow down your speed through the air, and he almost just went hurtling down into the pit. Let's see if he gets the second tricky lizard. It looks like it. Perfect.
So Red is going to get +10. So he will have damage time save over Fujo. So
yep, a damage time save from the weapon and from RTSR.
Yeah, this race just got really interesting.
Fujo with a +8. He still is able to one-shot both of those guys with counter hits. But it is going to mess with his damage thresholds in some later fights. I know his Sentinels fight is going to have to change normal strategies, as he's not going to kill them in the normal amount of attacks that he's used to. However, they do get a weapon later on, the Keyblade, and maybe Fujo will use the Keyblade for more fights than what he would normally use, just so that he's making use of a better weapon than a +8 rapier.
Yeah, that'd probably be the best option. So yeah, normally you would basically destroy Ruined Sentinels with +10. And you do quite a lot of damage to +8 as well, but it's not as optimal.
I think it's just it cost him one extra swing on that guy, and it's probably going to cost him an extra swing, if not two swings, on just about all of these. So that is the difference between a +8 and a +10. And it's not just going to be this boss that's like that. It's going to be every boss from here on out. Fujo's still having a very good fight otherwise. They're giving him good RNG, and he
very well clean fight, yeah.
Red choosing to skip the door skip, just going to open the door like usual. It is a time loss to do that compared to using the door skip. but no risk of death opening the door. Ujo making his way to get the last Cetic that is needed to get Rotten up to that NG plus 3 so that we can fight him 4 times in total. Again, we got to get to 1,000,000 souls. And they don't need 1,000,000 souls on them. They just need to get 1,000,000 souls altogether.
Yeah, and Fujo did not do the Jeff path in, unfortunately. It's all over now.
There has been some new pathing discovered recently by runner Jeff the Big Lizard, and it's an alternative and faster route um, through the Bastille, and it saves about 7 seconds if done optimally. However, you do have to pop your souls in slightly different places.
Yeah, so here's the final ascetic here, and now it's time for the Rotten Spree.
We have just some technical difficulties on Red's side. I am sure, is still racing, but the restream is just having some difficulties. And we'll see where he's at after this. It'll probably need to catch up. He's probably past Sentinels by now. So, we have Fujo taking on Rotten 2. Rotten 2, a little bit easier than Rotten 1 in my opinion, just because you have some extra levels, so you have more endurance for stamina. You have the Chloranthy ring for extra stamina regen, as well as you have this lightning pine resin, the gold pine resin, to do some extra damage to them. Again, the goal is usually to cut off the cleaver arm. However, it doesn't seem to be that Fujo is looking to do that. He's just taking whatever attacks he gets and running with it, which is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, and Rotten is probably the fight where RTSR will have the biggest time save. Yeah.
Yep. That was a good Rotten 1, though. Or, I'm sorry, Rotten 2, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so you will see once Red gets here that as the Rotten fights go on, the damage difference is going to be quite high.
Showing for me is 2RED taking on the Sentinels, and he's choosing not to RTSR this, which is perfectly fine. They don't go too much faster with the RTSR. They're just a whole lot more dangerous. Because unfortunately, this fight is very much time-based, based on when they each fall down, and you can't really speed it up too much. But looks like he has a good fight going on. Fujo taking on Rotten 3. Big thing is, you do not want to get hit by the Rotten. There are some attacks that you can take from full health, and you won't die, but it will cost you time, and there are certain attacks that you will die from just outright. Fujo getting that cleaver arm kill. Very good, very good.
Yeah, so the rest of the fight should be pretty free as long as he gets good attacks. Nice.
So 2RED actually showing the new route through Bastille. Unfortunately missing the jump onto the ledge, but even taking the ladder up is still about a 2-second time save over the standard route. And Fujo moving on to Rotten 4. For this one, we will see him use a Bright Bug, and this is just because every time you make the Rotten go up in New Game Plus cycles, he's getting stronger both in terms of HP and damage. So to keep up with that HP increase, we need to pump up the damage further, hence the Bright Bug usage.
Yeah, it also bumps up your defense as well. So
yep, it allows you to take one hit from Rotten if it's one of a certain few attacks, which is a nice buffer room because things happen. If Red is doing a Red Tearstone Ring Rotten, which I believe he will be, he does not have that buffer room. He will die if he gets hit by anything, but he's going to do quite a lot more damage. hopefully making fights quicker and catching up to Fujo.
Yeah, so Red's gonna have Artisar and a +10, so if he gets optimal fights, it'll be a faster cycle.
Yep, it should be a significantly faster cycle. We'll remember this time. Fujo is exiting Rotten 4 at 2908. We'll see where 2Red is at that same point.
Yeah, and you saw the Red use the poison to set up Artisar.
Yep, there is a nice and convenient setup with poison damage. And simply because this game doesn't have you take poison damage, well,
Oh no.
unfortunate. Um, as I was saying, though, you don't take poison damage while you are in the cutscene, while heading into the rotten fight. So that little extra time that you're not taking damage, but the poison is still ticking down, you are left with enough health to survive. It looks like he will skip the RTSR in the second fight, with Rotten 2. Unfortunately, he rolled right into a fire pit, and with as little health as he had, there was no way he was going to survive. One thing he has to remember is he needs to pick up those souls. Though that one's probably only like 99,000. After he's done killing all these runs, he's going to have like 600,000 souls.
Yeah, and if he wants to do Artisar in the other fights, he's either gonna have to use an effigy or use the fire to set
Yep.
it up. Because I believe he has 14 vigor, and with the poison, with the 14 vigor setup, you barely survive the Artisar setup.
Yeah,
And
he would not have enough HP now that he's died once and he's got one stack of hollowing.
yeah. So basically,
Fujo, now having leveled up, he's on his way to the next area of the game after opening the Shrine of Winter, which has that 1 million soul requirement. He's going on to the Dranglaic Castle. But Red onto Rotten 3 now. He got his souls back.
yeah. So now Fujo's at, I guess, what we would call the halfway point of the game, which is the Drain Lake Castle.
It looks like he will be going with RTSR on uh, this next fight. He did use an effigy to get back to full health. Unfortunately, getting unlucky with that rotten RNG, and he just backed up forever. I think what Red needed to do there was just back up a little bit further himself so that it would bait Rotten into moving forward again. And it looks like the stream caught up. Okay. We are at, looks like Rotten 4 now.
Yeah, look, he's using a bright bug. So I'm just gonna assume he had a good Rotten 3. So what you'll see Fujo doing here is to enter the Drain Lake Castle, there's these stone golems here, and you need them to absorb some souls in order for the door to open. So, spitting some enemies up to the second one. There we go. Now he just needs to wait for the door to open.
Yep. It's a unique mechanic for Dranglaic Castle. Has some lore reasons to it. But it is an interesting one, and you'll see it come into play 2 more times in this run, all in Dranglaic Castle. And it's just the way to move forward through this area. If you ever played this game and you felt kind of like, okay, where do I go? Well, it's probably one of these statues that you may have to activate.
Red got both of Rotten's arms off. Nice.
If you refresh it, you'll see him actually
Yeah.
teleporting out of Majula.
Okay.
So, at this point, Fujo is fairly significantly in the lead, despite having the +8 rapier. The fact that Fujo did not die to the Rotten let him continue on at a good pace. Red could still catch up. It really is up to Fujo to not die during this run and just do what he can to keep his fights quick. But Red needs really expert fights kind of from here on out, using that red tearstone ring and the +10 weapon to gain an advantage over Fujo and catch up. Red getting through the Shrine of Winter, and Yeah, they're probably about a minute and a half to 2 minutes apart at this point.
Yeah, around that.
That is honestly only one death in a mana, though.
Well.
So we'll see what happens. But Fujo heading through the castle, and he's going to be heading up to our next boss, which is actually a duplicate of another boss in the game. It is the Dragon Rider, but this time it is two Dragon Riders, and you'll see him use an interesting strategy with the bow to get the bow Dragon Rider off of his perch quickly, and then he'll just melt him with the rapier, since he seems to have very low HP.
Yeah, so one of the Dragon Riders uses a great bow, and he will shoot at you if you don't shoot him down. But he has really very little HP as well.
Yep.
So
The fight is structured so that you're supposed to kind of dodge those arrows and you kill the one in melee range at the bottom. And then when the one that starts on the ground is about half health, the one up top comes down and then brings his halberd as well. Having a little bit of a scary fight there with the Dragon Riders, but really no danger of death. And he's going to take this safety bonfire. This one you want to get regardless of what route you're doing, but doing it early, just a little safety for these next area, which has kind of an infamous enemy known as the mannequins.
yeah, so basically, in order to get to the next boss, you need to activate the elevator down there to go get the key to get to Mirror Knight. But to do that, you have to activate yet another golem, which is quite finicky in Scholar because you have to use a mannequin. It's quite
There's
monkish.
no convenient enemies around, so we use these guys instead, who will and they're a pain, to be honest. They have low hitboxes, so they can kind of go underneath your attacks sometimes. They're very fast, and if they hit you 3 times, they're gonna bleed you out. And bleed just does a large chunk of your health in damage. Um, it's not uncommon to see a runner die to just those two little mobs.
Yeah, especially if you do RTSR as well.
Yep. You do RTSR. You'll see some runners do bow strats to maybe get a quicker kill or to move them around and through to where you want them faster. But overall, that was a good mannequins fight by Fujo. He took it very safe, and he's gonna go sit at this bonfire, recover his health, recover his durability on his weapons, and we'll have a nice little break while he takes a long elevator up to grab a key to progress.
Yeah, longest elevator in the game, by the way.
It seems like there's three that are all about the same the same length. But we have Red here making his way through Dranglade Castle with red Tearstone rings. Hi Fujo, wave back to you. Red Tearstone ring set up, so you see that red glow around him. Again, he's got a lot of ground to break here, but he can with this setup if he gets good fights without any deaths.
Yeah, it's a free shot, the Great Bow Dragon Rider. And now he just wants to stay. He just wants to stay to Dragon Rider's side now. Not get hit. Ah, I got the
think
shield.
he does have some extra gold pine resins.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, very good fight from 2RED.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to heal up for the next part.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take those mannequins with RTSR health. And he can set up RTSR again before Mirror Knight. He just has to watch his rapier durability later.
Speaking of which, Fujo's just about to fight Mirror Knight. Yeah, so Mirror Knight's basically a scripted fight. So if you do the same attacks on him, he'll get the same fight every time. So Fujo's going to try to bait him into doing a specific lightning swipe. Well, spin attack, I suppose, whatever you want to call it. Which, if he starts the fight well, you should see it here.
Yep, It's we call it consistent night because with this consistent strategy, there's basically zero danger in the fight, and it will always be the same.
Yeah, so Romero and I should just continue repeating that attack for the rest of the fight now.
Yep, and because we have as high of damage we do with the rapier, doing counter hits with the gold pine resin, he melts pretty quick. If you play this game casually and you ever struggled with this boss, it's likely because you were kind of going too slow, and he summoned NPC shades from his shield to make the boss fight harder. Actively punished you for going slow. So,
And now it's time for the most infamous area in this game, by far.
Shrine of Amana.
Shrine of Amana.
It definitely ended 2 runs for the racers yesterday, shifting who was in front to who was in behind. We will see what happens here today. This area is notorious because of, I would say, 3 things. You have the water, which is hard to walk through. It makes you slow. It's going to slow you down. But the enemies are not slowed down by it. You have these archdrakes, which follow you seemingly forever, and they have some really nasty attacks. With the amount of ADP that we have, controlling our agility stat, which is for iframes, that stab that you just saw, you really don't get to dodge that.
Yeah, it's basically unrollable.
Unless they just somehow miss, you can't roll it with these stats. And then you have in the next section quite a few mages that are just casting soul arrow on you, and those soul arrows just seem to follow you forever too.
Yeah, they have insane range.
Range and tracking.
Like unless they hit something, they'll basically follow you through the entire area.
So this is always a scary part for any runner. He did equip some gear, and this is so that if he were to get hit by a soul arrow, it would not stagger him. He has generated enough poise wearing this bandit set that he will not get staggered, so he can continue running and hopefully dodge any other soul arrows.
Yeah, the bandit pieces he's got on gives him enough poise to survive one soul arrow at the fog gate. He can't survive any others though, so...
Can't survive any archdrakes either.
Yeah, so...
Fujo, probably knowing how far he is ahead, he's definitely taking this a little bit safe, which is very, very wise. Killing a few enemies, and then he'll get through that fog gate without too much trouble.
And now the final archdrakes.
Yep, look at that. That stab. He rolled, he did the best he could not avoid it.
Oh no.
Oh, he may have to kill both of these guys, which isn't a big deal to be honest. He can afford killing them.
Oh yeah, and you can also get a forlorn invasion in this area as well, which
that also happened in the race yesterday.
Yeah, they're probably the worst addition Scholar made to the game.
Yep. Scholar of the Forlorn.
Yeah, so fingers crossed for Red as well.
Well, Fujo got through the scariest part of Amana. He took it a little bit cautious, which I applaud his decision making right there. He didn't need to take any unneeded risks, so he didn't. Let's see what Red does. Will he go with a more YOLO Amana to try and catch up, or do you think he will also kill some enemies to ensure his safety?
Yeah, I think he'll kill some enemies. I don't think Red likes to do YOLO Amana unless it's necessary.
I don't know. I would say that this is a moment where it may be necessary.
I'm not sure if he actually knows if he's pinned or not, though.
That is true too. He might not know.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Fujo taking on the Demon of Song, otherwise known as the Frog, and unlikely to get a 2-cycle on this guy, but he will have a nice, clean, easy fight.
Yes.
So he gets a 2.5 cycle.
Yeah, 2 hits short of 2-cycle, but it's still okay. And now he's got the key to the embedded.
Yep,
Which,
this is the Keyblade that we had mentioned earlier. He can use this for several fights. I am pretty sure he's going to use it on the Guardian Dragon as well as Nishandra. We may even see it on Duo and Giant Lord. I doubt we'll see it on Velstadt, though.
nah, I don't think we'll see it on Velstart.
I think it's too slow for that.
Looks like Red is not equipping the banded armor.
Nope. He's going through. He will kill this guy, though. Kind of a weird pathing to do that, but...
Kind of an unfortunate trade there.
Yep. He's got some life gems. He'll heal it back up. So let's see how Red handles this fog gate, because this is the toughest part. Getting through that fog gate with soul arrows coming at you, with 3 enemies, 4 if you didn't kill anyone. And he somehow kills both of them without them even noticing. Easy enough.
Ah.
Yep. That will happen, but he's just gonna kill both of them and then be done. Even got him before the other mage would heal. All right, so Red gets through. They both had to kill quite a few enemies to get through, but getting through a mana is the best compared to dying.
Yeah, now Fujo's making his way through the Undead Crypt to get Velstart.
Undead Crypt is an interesting area. It is very much anti-light. The NPC even says, "Do not bring light into this area." Somehow those torches on the walls are immune to this, but we're gonna see Fujo running through the rocks as opposed to breaking them all, and then making his way towards the next area. We will get a scripted NPC invader.
Yeah, and he shoots an arrow here to gain the attention of those enemies so he can walk past.
These shield guys are kind of annoying to deal with because they do not budge very easily. If you try and attack them, it's just going to bonk right off their shield. So, as Alibaba said, we use an arrow, we shoot it above their head. Then the noise that the arrow makes when it hits the wall attracts one of them to turn around, and then we just run right past. A very good strategy, and makes it much easier than dealing with it the intended way.
Oh, Red did get a 2-cycle.
Yep, Red got a 2-cycle. He had all 4 attacks from that one, but he does get a 2-cycle.
Yeah, so as Fujo uses White Bug, and not sure how different Velstad is with +8 actually.
Probably 6 hits. But right here, he's just gonna turn and burn. So Velstadt is one of the few bosses. Oh no, a Red. Almost dying to this door guy.
That was really spooky.
Velstadt's one of the few bosses that actually kind of has phases, you could say. However, his phases are a little bit lame, simply because he doesn't gain any new stuff in his second phase. He just buffs himself, so he has more defense and he does more damage. But the goal is to try and limit the amount of time that he's in that second phase where he's buffed, because it can get scary if he stays in that state.
Yeah. So the reason why you have to go through all these areas is to get the item Fujo just picked up, which is the King's Ring, which allows you to open some special king doors. That's what I call them. I think that's what they're called. And when you have it equipped, and you need to do that to get to the Aldia's Keep, so that you can get to Ancient Dragon to get the Ashen Mist Heart, so that you can fight Giant Lord, so that then you can trigger the final boss of the game.
It's a very much so that you can kind of system where you just need to go get all these different items, and one item lets you get the next item, and so on and so forth. So basically, yeah, we need to get through Eldia's Keep now that we have that ring, and stopping us is a dragon, actually 2 dragons, but we'll see Fujo, I believe, using RTSR here now that he's picked it up, and it helps tremendously with the Guardian Dragon fight, who has a tendency to fly and be really annoying if you don't kill him quickly.
Sets up with the enemy there. It's gonna use a bright bug.
This is one of those areas where he pops it so early that the bright bug has almost run out by the time he gets to the boss. But it'll be enough time, maybe 10 seconds to spare, and it's just enough to get a quick kill and move on. 2RED shooting above the shield bros again, gets them, and he's gonna be making his way to Velstadt. Do you think we're gonna see a RTSR Velstadt from 2RED? I don't think so. He hasn't done a setup for it.
Unless he gets hit in the fight, I'd imagine not. I don't really think you could really set it up here anyway.
I wonder if Red made a decision kind of halfway through his run that he wasn't gonna RTSR like everything.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if I would want to pick up RTSR early like that if I'm not RTSRing like every boss after it.
Yeah, because you have to go because it's
Out of your way.
because you have to go out your way. You basically want to get as much time save as you can from it, which would mean using it pretty much on every boss from Najco onwards.
Yep.
Well, other than Sentinels, of course.
All right, well, we get the churn and burn, and he should die basically right after his buff starts, and he's not going to even get to attack. Or he's just dead there.
Yeah.
Not the best of fight from Red, but he gets through it, and he's going to be going on to Eldia's Keep. And we see Fujo with the Keyblade doing the Guardian Dragon, and he's doing the strategy with the Keyblade, as opposed to the Rapier, since he has this weapon. Oh, that's a big death.
I guess they're basically both tied now. It seems. They're gonna be very close now.
I think 2RED could actually be ahead from this. And my reasoning is Fujo is not going to have an extra bright bug for this fight unless he uses this here and he goes back to Majula to buy another one. He's going to need to use another pine resin, which he does have enough pine resin, so that's not a big deal. I'd be curious to see what Fujo does with the bright bug, because he only has one more, and that is for the duo and Nishandra for sure. I think he's just gonna not bright bug.
Yeah, so what Fujo tried to do was he did a roll setup and then 3 R1s. And the idea is you want to try to get him to turn his body a bit so that you can finish him off, but he got the next
interesting setup by Red.
Yeah, he got the neck swipe instead and then died to the stomp.
Yeah, these guys are neck and neck now. It literally was one death that separated them. This just turned into a really exciting race now. So 2RED has the bright bug. Fujo will not. I'm pretty sure that will be a large difference in terms of how fast the fight goes. And if 2RED gets a good fight proper with the bright bug and the RTSR setup, and Fujo does not, Fujo could be looking at being like maybe 20-30 seconds behind after this.
Yeah, if both runners remain deathless, it might just come down to Throne Duo, honestly, at this point.
It might, yeah.
Which is always fun.
I know that's Fujo's favorite favorite boss. So, okay, Fujo, I believe, is taking the safety bonfire, which it's kind of a secret bonfire here. This is going to cost him time, but I'm guessing he sees that no, he cannot die. Guardian Dragon is super annoying without the proper setup.
Yeah,
so
I think
he
Fujo
might just have to do that.
I think he's going to be about 20-30 seconds behind.
It might be more, to be honest.
Yeah.
Depending on how many times the dragon flies. There's no RTSR here, so his damage is going to be pretty pitiful. Rapier too? Oh, yeah. Okay, getting... Oh, didn't get the right setup. Let's see. We just don't want to see a death.
Went for the backup.
Roll. Okay. Oh, don't get stomped on. Oh, no. Stomped on by Guardian Dragon. Man, both runners got killed by Guardian Dragon today. Okay, let's see what happens here.
Although,
Fujo
although,
taking a hit. Yeah, at this point, if Fujo just doesn't die, then he's going to
yeah,
be in a commanding lead.
yeah, this is what happens usually if you fail the optimal setup. You Guardian Dragon can just fly as much as he wants, basically.
He just does whatever he wants at that point.
Yeah.
One more hit, and he
Okay.
gets it. Okay.
So Fujo has a pretty big lead again now.
That is huge. That's like I think that's like a 3-minute lead. This may be that may have been the nail in the coffin for Red, unfortunately. Unless Fujo has a death to throne duo. I think it might be over.
I mean, I guess there's always Giant Lord as well.
Giant Lord is a meme, but dying to Giant Lord is only like a 45-second time loss as opposed to
Yeah, that's
3
true.
minutes. Because it's a long run back. And he still has to do the fight.
Yeah, so I guess without a Throne Duo and a Sandra death, I guess Fujo may end up taking this one home.
Mm-hmm. So, Fujo going through Dragon Airy, which is probably the shortest area that we go through here in the Scholar of the First Sin edition. They made a nice, very convenient change compared to the vanilla DS2 by including none other than a zip line. And it goes from one side all the way to the end.
Yeah, it's the ultimate swag strats.
No having to line up any complex jumps or running through the whole area. You just take the zip line and then you're done. So now he's approaching Dragon Shrine, which can be a bit tricky. Some of these guys are tough, and I agree with taking this bonfire. I think that's a smart decision because dying here would be a long walk back.
Yeah, the enemies here deal a lot of damage. So
And they stagger you like crazy.
yeah, they can stun lock you.
The intended way through this area is honestly to fight all of these big guys that are standing in the way in a 1v1 duel to the death, and then the rest of them just leave you alone because they respect your ability to 1v1. Oh no, I think he's dead. Oh, he just got out of the way of that flame. Very good, 2RED. One more hit. Oh.
I got the turn.
Okay.
Guardian Dragon turned, luckily. That could have been really bad.
That guy is right in front of Fujo is super scary. But the rest of these guys, he should just be able to jump through this area and then he's through. You can take 2 hits on your way through that last corridor, not 3. And he only took 1, so he's okay. He's going to talk to the Ancient Dragon as he teleports out. And we're going to see him go back to the Cardinal Tower bonfire to do a sick jump and fight the Giant Lord.
Yeah, and as you saw with the Dark Sign, in this game, when you when you press the button to interact with an NPC and then right after press the button to use an item with a confirmation box, you can use the item and get its effects while talking to an
Advancing
NPC.
the dialogue, yep.
Yeah. And normally to get a giant lord, you have to go through one of the king's doors. But turns out you can just do this jump to bypass it.
Yep. It's
sure.
about a 40-second time save, I believe.
Yeah.
The jump is actually kind of an interesting one. You use a gesture, which is essentially those emotes that we've been seeing them both do on the elevators. You use a gesture, backstep out of it, get a little bit of height to get onto that ledge, and then using a bow to line it up, you can make it to the other side in just one jump. And we see Fujo choosing not to do an RTSR setup. He must know that he's in a commanding lead right now, and he's not even going to risk it. It will be a slower fight, but it is basically a guaranteed fight without RTSR. You can just play it super safe.
Yeah, he's got a super big lead, so there's no need to take any risks.
And what we see here is just moving in and out between the legs based on what attacks he's using. Fortunately, all of his attacks are fairly well telegraphed. Unfortunately, his hip or the camera's not very good when fighting him, and it can be annoying to actually hit the legs sometimes. 2RED taking some damage from that last big guy with the great sword, but he should be able to heal up before getting to the end. And Fujo standing in front of the last King's Gate um, before the final boss duo.
Yeah, so now he's going to fight Phone Duo, which is basically the Ornstein and Smo of this game,
It's
except just
not a
at the
very
end.
good Ornstein Smo, but it is, I guess, an Ornstein Smo.
Yeah, and at the end of the game. So he's going to do a jump here because he wants to use an old Radiant Life Gem once he enters the fight. But they don't activate, or they don't take effect at full health, so he did that jump to take some damage, so that
Yep.
he'll have the effects of it throughout the fight.
He can have that health ticking up from the old Radiant. He's gonna want to take basically one attack from the defender or watcher just to get his health a little bit lower, so that again he can keep getting that health regen, and then he shouldn't have to worry about his health throughout the entire fight. 2RED making lining up the jump as well. Very good. He is going for the RTSR strategy for Giant Lord, so a little bit quicker, a little bit more dangerous. And let's see this duo. Goal usually is kill the defender, the one with the big black shield, first, and then kill the watcher solo. Because the defender can be super annoying if he puts up his shield, and the watcher just does tons of damage. And it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
avoid. Very, very close to death right there. This is not a good spot.
He might want to stick with RTSR, honestly. Might be a
Uh,
bit risky healing. Nah, yeah, okay, yeah, time
yeah,
there.
he got enough space. Defender needs one hit, but yeah, you just cannot afford a death here. Okay, now that we have the Watcher by herself, it's not as bad. Magic
Ah,
can do some damage, but he's fine.
probably the worst attack she can do, honestly.
She's gonna buff here, and that's gonna be a kill. So Defender and Watcher are dead. That was a tough fight. Not good memes there. And then we have our final boss, Nishandra, coming next. Red finishing up Giant Lord.
So yeah, Fujo's gonna empty a stamina bar here, and then he's gonna walk away and use a life gem to hopefully bait beam from Lissandra. Hopefully it
The
goes well.
beam is the easiest
Nice.
attack to avoid, as you just have to walk to the side, and it gives you so much time to walk in, get counter hits, and then do it again. So rinse and repeat stretch. Fortunately, no beam, but he should be fine here. Just gonna play it safe, and here's the beam. Oh, there we go. And Nishandra should die to this stamina bar.
Nice.
GG's to Fujo.
Uh,
That was a rough run, all things considered. But he definitely played it how it needed to be played at the end. He did have that meme for Guardian Dragon, but he still saw that he was ahead afterwards, and then he played the rest of it safely so that he had no more deaths. So GG's to Fujo. He will be moving on in the winners bracket. Red, unfortunately, will be going to the losers black bracket. I will have to check who he will be facing next. But we still have two more bosses for Red to fight.
so
Red
Red.
actually using an interesting technique, basically glitching the stamina so that he can just keep sprinting down the whole way. It's a little bit of a time save.
Yeah,
A little, it's cheeky, but hey, whatever.
I have no idea why it works though. It's really peculiar to me.
Hey, he took one hit, which is perfect. That lets him get that extra HP ticking up. He's taken quite a few hits, so okay, defender's dead. Oh,
I went for the extra heal.
okay. I agree with that heal. So, scary fights for both of these racers on the duo. This is not an easy fight,
Nice. Pretty
and
clean
you
finish.
get that weird RNG with the Watcher at the end, where it just runs in who knows what direction. And then we have one more boss, Nashandra. We should see the same sort of strategy from Red. Sink some attacks into her, back out, life gem to bait a laser, rinse and repeat.
One 104.17 for red, looks like. Only about 2 minutes behind Fujo's. Not too bad. Only 2 deaths. Yeah, could have been worse.
All right, let's bring the runners back in and let's have a chat with them. And you guys are back.
GG.
Fujo, Red, great race.
Yeah.
Yeah, GG
Very,
guys.
hey, very entertaining race. Maybe I need to
Yeah.
rephrase it.
Was very nice of you to slow
I am
down, Fujo.
speechless. There's so many memes in this race. I have no words, man. It took some effort to go on. Like some of the stuff were really tough to deal with.
So let's break it down maybe a little bit and go over some of the memes again. So Red got early RTSR, and he had a tough time on Rotten 2. Depth there definitely cost him some time, but overall it was fine. Then for Fujo, we saw you pick up that Great Club, and we weren't sure exactly what you were going to do with it. And then we later realized, oh, you're going to use it for the congregation fight. You're going to use it to get the crystal lizards. Well, you missed one of the crystal lizards, and that left you with a +8, +8 rapier. So what were your thoughts when you were going into fights with a +8 rapier and you knew that Red was going early RTSR and he had a +10 rapier?
So, first of all, I died in Forest of Fallen Giants with a missed roll. So that was super bad. Like starting with a death in the first 5 minutes, the mental is not right. So that was the first major issue with this run for me. Going in with the +8, it was fine until, let's say, Velstadt. Like then the damage was just down, and then I don't really know what happened with Guardian Dragon. I mean,
He lived on what should have been a death. He should have died to that last hit. I don't know why he didn't die either.
my explanation is that this is the one rare type of RNG where you have to do 4 R2s. But this is super tough to read. Like, this is the kind of RNG I've never got in practice, and I've killed this boss maybe 300 times or even more. So, yeah, it's it was insanely bad. Bad luck on this.
Yeah, we were watching and we saw Red just kind of staying behind while you were up, and then that death to the Guardian Dragon from Fujo reset it. You guys were actually neck and neck.
Yeah,
Red
I
was
saw.
gonna look to be a bit ahead after the Guardian Dragon fight, but then we had an unfortunate death from Red in the same manner. Both of the runners got stomped on by the Guardian Dragon. So that was really weird to see. Like that's not normal.
Guardian
stuck
Dragon
in
is
this
one of the
claw, what else
worst
can I do?
deaths you can get with like
Yeah.
Drunglade
It's like a
Gate.
3-minute run. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is the worst death in races because you don't have any bonfires. Of course, you have this insanely slow bonfire in the fortress, but you don't want to take it. I took
Yep,
it because
we
I wanted
saw
to.
you take that.
I wanted to at least finish this run. But
Did you
yeah,
did you know that you were ahead though, Fujo?
I knew I was ahead. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why you didn't take a
Yeah, I
RTSR
also
Giant
watched it.
Lord,
Yeah.
and you also played that that duo really safe. I
No,
mean,
that duo had
well, that
almost
was
one
super
shot from
memes.
Watcher, which is I don't understand how you can take so much damage from her. Like I I heard the noise where it's like hits twice when she hit me. So I think I took 2 hits in one. Maybe. I don't know what happened with that hit. You're not supposed to take that much damage on this hit.
Well, you did finish. So congratulations, Fujo. You're moving on to face Nick in the next winners match. And Red, you'll be going down into the losers bracket, where you will get a chance at redemption there. Not exactly sure who your opponent is. Maybe that is still to be
Pseudo, I
decided.
think.
Will it be Pseudo? Okay.
I think
Well,
it will be Pseudo, if I remember correctly.
either
Yeah.
way, I think you guys had a very fun race to watch and commentate.
Yeah.
Definitely kept it interesting near the end with that death. But we saw some super solid stuff from both of you in most of the places. So
Yeah.
that
Until
was good.
Guardian Dragon, I
And
was satisfied.
Amana didn't take any lives today, so that was always a plus.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was very, I don't know, relaxed after round 2. Well, right, I need a death of Fujo to get up, but I still have a chance to PB, so I was just, I don't know, taking it fairly safe. And then, I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe I
GG
would not
Red.
have died at Guardian if I didn't know that you died, and I knew I was, like, even.
Yeah.
That pressure came out of nowhere and I died immediately. I don't
Well,
know.
GG's guys.
What happened? Yeah, GG.
yeah,
GG, man.
GG.
I think with that, we will be taking another break. And coming up afterwards, we will have our next race with Luthariel versus Reknep's Legs in the losers bracket. So stay tuned for that.